Hello, and thank you for joining us here on Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. We always want to give you updates and let you know some of the things that you decide that make a huge impact for other people and some of the options that you have to be able to make things better for you as we talk about some of the options here through our Council on Aging. And we welcome into our program Ms. Charlene Rodriguez, who is the Executive Director with Lafourche Council on Aging. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate it. Look, this is a really important time of year, but this is a time of year where people can make a decision that's really not going to impact them at all, but it can go a long, long way, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about the millage and the fact that we have an option here to continue it, to extend it.
We are on the ballot on November 8th for a renewal for our 2 mil property tax. It's not an increase. It's the same 2 mills we've always been collecting all along, and it's to provide services to our seniors and whatever else we need. The only thing we didn't have on that proposition was to buy property and build a building. And as you all know, we had to relocate since Ida.
Right.
So we're in the American Legion home in Raceland now. We're paying rent and utilities, and it's costing. So we went to the parish president and asked him, could we go on a ballot to renew our millage, leave it at 2 mills, but to be able to add in there that we could buy property and build a building. And he said yes. So now it's going out to the people on the November 8th ballot. It's the last proposition at the bottom.
Last proposition at the bottom. And quite frankly, it doesn't impact anybody anymore greatly. It doesn't increase any taxes whatsoever. All it says is that we want to be able to buy buildings and be able to use space and use that. But quite frankly, it's because you got kicked out because of Ida.
Right.
And it made it very, very difficult for you and your team to provide those services without a big enough place and space to do that.
Exactly. It was very hard to find another place, and I understand, you said kicked out. I don't like to use those words.
No. I mean, we didn't get kicked out, but the situation kind of forced you out.
Right, it did. Yes.
Because couldn't get it all done. There wasn't enough space for everybody.
It's not enough, exactly. And when the parish had, they had damage on their side, so they needed more room. Mm-hmm. We needed room, so we couldn't all still fit there. So he asked us if we'd find another location until they could remodel, and they still haven't worked on it yet. No. So, and here we are a year later.
Right. Well, and there's no ability to be able to do that because you got to go through so many steps governmentally to get things done, much like for yourselves. Can't really use that money for anything else now, but that's where the money is needed for you to continue to provide services. And let's talk about some of the value that y'all provide to people.
We do provide transportation services. We provide homemaker services. Now, that's on a waiting list right now because of the shortage of employees.
Right.
We provide meals. Either you drive by and pick up a meal at the site, or you could pick one, go to the senior center and eat a meal, or home delivered for people who can't drive anymore. We deliver meals to their homes.
Right.
We provide utility assistance, Medicare Part D open enrollment, which we're going to talk about that later.
Right.
Medical alert button.
Are y'all still working with, or still have an option for medical alert along with Acadian?
Yes.
Okay. So there is a reduction in the support for that through Acadian? Okay. That's wonderful.
If they call through the Council on Aging, they do get a little reduction in the payment plan.
The cost. Okay.
Now, if they think they need it, but they can't afford it, we also have an unmet needs program where we could pay for it. If they're on food stamps, or if they show us a need, they're not on food stamps, show us all their bills and what they take in. We see if they're eligible and we can pay for it.
That's fantastic. I appreciate that. And it makes me think about some of the people. And fortunately, as roles change, my role is now to be able to spend time with our seniors again.
Great.
And I'm excited about being a social worker in our communities. And I've been talking with your staff every week about those things. And so they're so very helpful. And so I just want people at home to know that those services are making a huge difference for people. And so you really want to find a way to really support this millage so we can do whatever we can to continue these services. And I know homemaker services are difficult, trying to get people in the homes. Respite is difficult as well. And the difference between those is, and bathing as well, right? So those 3 programs are rather labor intensive.
Right.
We require staff to do that. And that's just a difficult challenge right now.
It is. And it's very hard to find employees that want to work again.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's going to come back to a good normal where we could say, we no longer have a waiting list. And that's the only reason we have it. It's not because we don't have the funds. We do. It's just to find the employees that want to work.
Yeah, and it's just, I think the 2 years of COVID really got people a little bit more comfortable with not doing as much.
Exactly.
And then after Ida, I think, quite frankly, we've had a lot of people not here. We've had a lot of people relocate. And like we talked about, you guys not having a building or a place to be, there's still so many people that don't have a place to be or to operate out of.
And it's so hard to find good carpenters or electricians or whatever they need right now.
Right.
So that's a big, huge problem.
Yeah. And we were talking about that change in date. I kind of want to let people know that instead of November the 17th, which is a Thursday, now it is November the 21st, which is a Monday.
Right.
At the American Legion. 21st, 7 to 9 a.m., American Legion, commodities. Just know that the change of date with that. Let people know, those people that are watching the show, please let those others that need and get commodities when they can come. And so commodities is one of those things that's so very helpful. But one of the most helpful things that I think all of our council on agings do, and they do a terrific job, is letting people know about this open enrollment.
Right.
Let's talk about what you and your staff do to help with that.
For open enrollment, we send out papers probably in August or September to let them know that it's open enrollment from October 15th through December 7th. And what they do is they fill out the form, they send it back to us, and we put in all the information into the computer system. And then we see each individual one either by phone or in person, and we look over the plans according to their medications, which plan is best for them, which one's the cheapest. We put in together the premium plus the medication, and that way it tells us which one is the best plan.
And that is specifically for Part D.
Right.
And one of the things I really want people to know, Charlene and I talk about this all the time, is that you do not have to accept a Part C plan. A Part C plan is A and B together, and then you can add Part D with it. Part C is managed care. You do not have to give up your traditional Medicare A and B to get the services from Part D.
Right.
You just don't.
Right.
And so I think that that's one of the things that a lot of these managed care companies call and tell people. They don't tell them the rest of the story.
Exactly.
And it just frustrates me some because I think our seniors need to know everything.
Right. And that's what I tell them. If they're going with that C plan, make sure the doctors and hospitals are covered, their medication's covered. They have to do a lot of homework.
Yes.
And they don't realize that these doctors could get out during the year, but they're stuck.
That is correct. I did find out, unfortunately, on this very important day, that those people that have Medicare A and B, no matter what plan you have a certain amount that comes out of Social Security. And so in 2022, there was $171.10 that came out of your check. That's being reduced in 2023 to $164.90.
Right.
So that's a good $7 or so that's coming down, which is good. And then Part D roughly costs around 6 days, saying the cap, you can't pay any more than $63 a month for Part D in 2022. That's going down to $62. And that may seem like not a whole lot of money, but $8 a month every month, that's a lot of money.
It is.
And so it allows people to be able to have that. But let's talk about the diabetic supplies. It's also a little bit different this year.
The insulin, they'll charge you $35 a month for insulin. You just have to make sure that your plan is covering the insulin.
Right.
If it is, now if they give you a 3-month supply, you pay 35 times 3, which is $108.
Okay.
I had a man come see me yesterday, and he said, they wanted to charge me $108. And he said, I told him that they told me it'd only be 35. And I said, that's because it was a 3-month supply. He said, oh, if they'd have told me that, I'd have picked it up. So those little things that we don't think of asking or find out why.
Right. And that's for the supplies themselves, right? That's for the Lancets and for the...
Not the Lancets. The Lancets covered under Medicare.
Under
It's
Medicare,
the pens, like the...
The pen, okay.
the pen with the medication in it. Right.
Those injectables.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Wow. That's terrific because I can tell you,
is.
I know how expensive those are.
I could tell you that, too.
The Trulicity and the
Yes.
Ozempic, those
Yes.
medications, or the Jardiance, a lot of those medications
Right.
are very, very expensive. And
Exactly.
so if you can get that diabetic plan for just $35 a month, I think it costs more than $35 a day
Right.
for that medication.
Right.
But they can get it for $35 a month or a 3-month supply for $108.
Right.
And again, those are the things that people just need to know and be aware
Right.
of. That's why it's important for us to
Right.
talk about that. Now, when you tell them that they can call in and you can go through the system, it is a wonderful program that you can do Medicare Part D Compare.
Right.
Where you can put in the medications and it will tell you the best Part D plan, the most cost efficient plan for them to have. Right.
And, a lot of them will tell you, don't worry about me, my plan's paying good, I don't want to touch it. And I keep telling them, make sure you look at it because it may be paying good right now, but next year it could change and then you're stuck. Right. So that's my pet peeve with a lot of them, that really want to stay where they're at. Right. Let's just look at it,
And I also found out from Kenneth, whom I spoke with Medicare, who was telling me that they can literally change if they sign up for a plan that they think is the best plan, a C plan, and they're not happy with it, they actually can change at the end of a month. They can go back. They cannot join a new plan, but they can go back to traditional Medicare through Medicare. And I asked him 3 times. I said, sir, I've heard lots of confusion about this. I want to make sure. And he said, yes. And the best way they could call their plan to ask. The best thing to do is to call Medicare. So they can go back to traditional Medicare, but not necessarily join a new plan in the middle of a month.
Right.
So that's why this is open enrollment. The prescription drug plan, they have to stay in that program.
Right. Okay.
Which is why it's so very important to be able to find one that you like.
Right. And the prescription drug plan, if you are low income, you have extra help, you could change every quarter.
Yes. And there's a program that will help pay for that.
Right.
Deductible, that $32 a month.
Right.
There's a special program that you can apply for through the government that does that.
Right.
So some really good information. We want people to call. Let's give them that number where they can reach out to you.
985-532-0457.
0457. So very important to be able to do that. Shirley, thank you for all of the information you provide for us. People need to go out and vote, say yes to the millage. It's not going to cost any more money, and call you guys if they have any questions, right?
That's right.
Very cool. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that will do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou Time when we continue.